Hi, I'm Michael Sankey from Charles Darwin University up here in Darwin, where I'm the Director of Learning Futures and Lead Education Architect. Now look, I've been involved with the community mentoring program for, I think this will be my 8th year. So I've learned a few lessons along the way and hope to share a few of those with you and some of the exciting things along the way. But first, I would like to just acknowledge our traditional owners of the land up here from where I am, and that is the Larrakia people. And I would like to acknowledge their elders, past, present, and emerging. So, being an Ascilite mentor. So, as I said, I've been here for a few years now. But the biggest thing for me is about giving back to the community, the Ascilite community that's given me so much over the years. And I've been involved in higher education now for 32 years. So, I've kind of learned a few lessons along the way in there. And been an Ascilite member for decades now, long time. Importantly with mentoring, it's about listening. So hearing the people. I mean, I've got experience and they've got experience, and it's how we merge that experience and try and come up with some ways forward, particularly for the mentee. So it's about sharing some lessons I've learned along the way and bringing that into the perspective of where the mentee is in their particular career. Importantly, from my perspective, it's about giving people a sector-wide context for what they're doing. So many people have started work in a university or in a higher education institution or TAFE or whatever it might be, and that's their kind of understanding what higher education is. But there is so much more across our sector. And part of what I like to do is to try and bring that sector-wide context to what they're doing. And it's about helping those people come to a comfortable space within higher education and in what they have to contribute to higher education. And really importantly for me, it's about raising their profile. I've had so many mentors over the years that have helped me raise my profile, whether they be bosses or colleagues, but they've mentored me in higher education, and it's allowed me to raise my profile. And I would like to do the same thing for others. So for example, with Mark Bailey, these are just some examples over recent years. So Mark Bailey, who worked for Blackboard at the time, before that NetSpot, we were engaged together in 2017, and we worked through a project around a learning framework or technology enhanced learning framework that he was working on, and I helped him kind of nut that out a bit more, and we ended up doing an Ascilite paper for that in 2017. We also did a presentation at the Blackboard conference. So I'd like to get, when I'm mentoring, I like to work towards something, some outcomes for the mentee. I obviously get a bit of credence out of that as well, but mostly it's about getting the mentee some credibility within the sector. The following year in 2018, I worked with Sandeep from Monash University, and also Patricia Donald. I helped her in the sense that she was this was the first year she was a mentor as well. So I teamed up with her, and we worked with Sandeep, and we worked through a flipped classroom model that could be applied to students in India. And so we did that. We got an IGDICT journal article out of it, and also were able to take that to the Commonwealth of Learning Conference in Edinburgh the following year. So she got some great outcomes from that. In 2019, I was working with Ratner from Edith Cowan University, and we had a great time looking at micro-credentials as it was back in 2019. We did this in conjunction with ACODE, the Australasian Council of Open Distance and E-Learning, and we pulled together a white paper on micro-credentialing as a sustainable way forward for universities in Australia. That white paper got quite a lot of traction, got mentions in the Campus Morning Mail and things like that. And we also then eventually got a journal article out of that. In fact, since then, we've done another couple of outcomes as well, but these were directly related to the mentoring program. In 2020, I worked with Amanda Bellaby from Queensland University of Technology, and we had a really good time looking at, particularly that's when COVID hit, and we looked at the implications for learning designers, what happened in the early years of COVID. And we were lucky to do a survey across Ascilite members and other learning designers in the greater community. We got a really nice article in Campus Morning Mail, and also an Ascilite paper out of that, which was fantastic. And also, as part of giving back into the community, we also did a presentation for the tele-advisors. And so really trying to engage the Ascilite community in all its different forms. Last year, I worked with Jack Sage from James Cook University, and we ended up with, again, we did a study around the transitions. So learning designers, how do they get to be learning designers? What's their background? What gets them to be learning designers? How, if I was an aspiring learning designer, what would I be doing? What would I be having to look at? So Jack and I looked at that together. At the time, he was in the careers area, but wanted to transition into learning design. And so he had a personal interest in what was it that would help him get to be a learning designer. So we did a survey across our Ascilite membership and got some fantastic data, and of course got this paper in the Ascilite conference last year, but also we had an Ascilite tell-all blog about this back in November, and also gave a presentation to tele-advisors, and also initiated what's called the Peer Assisted Learning Design Initiative, the PALD initiative. And if you want to find out a bit more about that, go to the Ascilite site and click on Get Involved. So last year was a big year for me and for Jack. We got a lot of stuff done. I probably wouldn't expect that every year, but it was great fun doing it with Jack. What's going to happen in 2022? Who will it be? Let's find out.